Why be a real estate investor? Because you hate your boss and you hate your job? Okay, maybe that's it. But let's talk about real estate investing. Why it's such a good idea. And that way maybe you can start to formulate some ideas in your mind as to why you'd want to be a real estate investor, or why not. First off, real estate in general is the source of more wealth than any other investing activity. And the IRS points it out and proves it, and they are the foremost authority on personal finance because the IRS is tracking people's taxes. And you look at the list of billionaires on Forbes 400, many of which either made their money in real estate or they keep their wealth in real estate. So it's very obvious from many different statistical measures that your highest probability of economic productivity in your lifetime in part would be through real estate. So, real estate is a great vehicle for producing wealth. In fact, it's the ideal investment. Ideal. I would stand for income. One of the nice things about real estate is that you can get rent. Now, those rental payments are often very tax advantaged, meaning you pay very little taxes on your rental income, especially if you have a mortgage and those sorts of things, because of a thing called depreciation. Okay? So depreciation is the second one. Depreciation allows you to take a phantom expense against the income, and that helps you to cash flow better because you have to pay less in taxes. Now, income, if we compare that to other investments, let's say stocks or bonds, stocks may give you a dividend, bonds may give you a coupon payment. However, real estate oftentimes will give you a larger income as a balance of how much you actually invested because of leverage. So you can actually cash flow better. You can get more income through your real estate than you could through a stock or a bond in many cases. Depreciation is where you get to actually create a phantom expense on your tax returns so that you can pay less in taxes. E is for equity. This is a great one. You see, and I'm going to compare it to stocks, and I'm not a stock expert, but by and large, when people buy the equity, the equities or the stocks of publicly traded companies, they're buying those at market value. So when they hire a stockbroker or go online and buy it through Charles Schwab, they're getting the stock at that moment in time that's called market value. Now, it might be undervalued or overvalued. However, in most cases, the markets are efficient. Not all cases, as Buffett has proved, but equities in real estate can be had the minute you buy it, because you can buy real estate cheaper than its real value. Why? Because sometimes sellers need to get out of their property, and they're willing to sell for lower than what the market value is because they want to get out fast. And there's a lot of reasons for it. And we'll talk about that in this course. So equity, you can get instant equity when you buy a property. And as you pay down your mortgage, or your tenant does, if it's a long-term rental, that builds more equity, and you may get appreciation. Now, I want to be careful here because over the past, say, 5 to 10 years, there's been a real estate bubble that has bursted, and so some people didn't experience that appreciation. However, over the past 100 years, studies have shown that real estate, residential anyways, at least keeps pace with inflation, and in many cases it goes up. So you get some appreciation, maybe not a lot, but here's the key. Even if your appreciation is just 3%, which means it's just keeping up with inflation kind of numbers, watch this. Leverage, the L in ideal, leverage allows you to buy more real estate than you have money. So you might put down $10,000 and you might own a $100,000 house. So that's leverage. You use $10,000 to control $100,000 in real estate, and if that $100,000 is going up by 3%, that means the first year it's gone up to $3,000. If it went up in value by 3%, well, now you're at 103. And here's the beauty: you just went up by 3,000 and you only invested 10. So in that perspective, that's actually 30% return, isn't it? I'm no mathematician, Well, that's pretty good numbers, right? So, real estate has the ability to be the ideal real estate investment. That makes sense? You can get income from it. You can depreciate some of that income. You can get instant equity. You can get appreciation, especially over the long haul. And you can leverage the purchase so you don't have to use all of your own money. You have to use $100,000 cash to buy the property. You might have to only put 10% down. And I'll show you in this training later in the course how you can buy and sell real estate and how you can acquire real estate without any down payment, without any cash, without any credit. That's really exciting. Now, that's kind of a 30,000 foot view, but there's so much more to it. Certainly it's the ideal investment. But as a business of investing in real estate, here's some other things I love about it. Number one, it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter your background. And I don't know if I even spelt that right. I did that on purpose. It doesn't matter if you can spell or not. You can succeed in real estate. It doesn't matter where you're coming. It doesn't matter, resumes don't matter. The last time I put together my resume when I was in college, that was a long time ago. So it allows anyone, potentially anyone, to be successful because it doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter. My mentor, he never went to college. I mean, he barely got out of high school. So it doesn't really matter your background, your resume. It doesn't matter if you grew up on the wrong side of the tracks, the right side of the tracks, whether you came to the United States from a different country or you were born here. None of that really matters. That's the beauty. It's equalized. Meaning anybody who has a drive and anyone who has the right education, the right mentoring team and coaching, you got the right ingredients, you can be successful. It doesn't matter where you come from. And I don't care if you got bad credit. I'm going to show you in this training how to buy real estate without cash or credit. You've got no excuses. All right, so there's more to this as well. I like the fact that even if you don't have a lot of money, it does help if you got some money. I'm not going to say that there's not a benefit to that, but you don't need a lot of it. But having some can be helpful. Here's what I mean. You heard about me being homeless. One of the problems is when you're homeless, you don't have enough money to do a photocopy of a contract at a FedEx or an office store. So it does help if you got a couple of bucks, right? In fact, I think one of the great benefits of real estate is you can do it part-time. So what that means is if you've got a full-time job right now, you may love your job. You may want to remain in your career and always do this part-time, and you can. You can do just a couple of real estate deals a year if you want to. Every year after. I've met some people over my travels that have done, just a couple of deals a year, made an extra, 50 to 100 grand a year, every year for like 20 years. And they've bought real estate for the long haul as well, and they've got this great retirement now, and they've got this wonderful portfolio, and they always kept their careers. They loved their careers, and so they kept it. Maybe you're a doctor, you're an attorney, maybe you're a corporate executive, maybe you're a pharmacist, you're in a field where you want to stay in that field, and you can do this part-time. That's another thing I love about real estate. And if you got a little bit of money coming in, that does help because it allows you more options on what you can do. But even if you're flat broke, there's still opportunity for you as well. It doesn't matter if you're old or if you're young. And I got started when I was right out of college. And so I met with sellers who were 20 years my senior, and they needed help. They wanted out of their real estate. They didn't care how old or young I was. And I just went along with it. It doesn't matter your age either. It doesn't matter your gender, male or female. I've had students that have been incredibly successful as females and then them as males as well. It is wide open. That's another thing I like about real estate. It's wide open. You can invest close to home or you can invest far away. So it's geographically, I would say that it is open. Now, one little piece of caution, it's probably better to invest close to home in the beginning to get all of your bearings straight, to get the system down, to get dialed in. But I do deals long distance. There are deals I've done. I'm working on a $4 million deal right now. I've never seen, I didn't see for like the first 2 years I was working on it. I just happened to be on vacation and went and looked at it, but seriously, you can do stuff all over the country. It doesn't have to be right next to you, right next door to you. But at the same time, this is important, there are diamonds in your own backyard. Diamonds in your own backyard. One of the things that I've discovered over the years in teaching and training and coaching others is everybody thinks that somewhere else is a better investment than right in their own hometown. Not true. There is diamonds in your own backyard. There are diamonds in your own backyard. Some people are 3 feet from gold and they don't even realize it. So the other great thing about real estate is there are houses everywhere. There's real estate everywhere. I mean, you can see it, you can touch it, you can feel it. That's why they call it real estate. It's real. So it's everywhere. So that means that you could do deals wherever, if you'd like, or you can do them right in your own hometown. Now, again, I suggest you do stuff right near you in the beginning to really get things going and understand the process. But you may, and over the long haul, decide to invest in other places. I've got a student of mine who used to invest close to home, but now he buys in 3 separate states, and they're all very far away from him. And he did all his numbers, and that's the kind of deals he wants to do, and that's great. So you can either do them far away or close to home. I like it both ways. Now, like I said before, this course is not going to be able to help you necessarily with outside of North America, but maybe these trainings will. You know, maybe I get some feedback from some of y'all. Maybe you're in the UK, you're in Australia or South Africa. You'll apply what you learn here, and maybe you'll say, Phil, this stuff works. I'd love to hear about it. Okay, so that is why people get into real estate. There's so much flexibility, there's so much opportunity, and it's everywhere. You can do it part-time, you can do it full-time, and there's no question that many of the wealthiest people in this country and around the world have made a lot of their money in real estate. In fact, the biggest houses in my area are owned by real estate people, and I know them. So, I mean, it is a very lucrative opportunity to get into it and to discover it. And so, even if you decide through this course that you're just not going to be an investor, you may want to know how to buy your first home. Almost everybody ends up becoming a homeowner at some point in their life. So, I mean, this is something that applies to everybody. And I love that about real estate, especially residential. This course isn't going to talk much about commercial, by the way. We're going to focus on residential. And everybody needs a place to live. Everybody needs a roof over their head. So it's not something that's specialized that you have to convince a bunch of other people. Let's say, for example, you had a new idea for a new business. Well, in many cases, if you have a new idea, you have to convince the public why it's a good idea. You don't have to convince the general public that real estate's a good idea. People want to be homeowners. All right, so that's why you may want to become a real estate investor. And I hope through the course of this training that you're going to discover why you really want to be a real estate investor. And I think that's very important. So this is going to be your homework. I want you to start to write down, and you may not have the answer today, but start the process of writing down why you would want to be a real estate investor. Like, what would that do for you? Like, what would it do for your life? I mean, would you want more freedom, more flexibility? You know, that's what I did when I first got started. I thought about it, and I said, well, why would I want to be a real estate investor? And I thought, well, you know, I want to have more freedom and time to be, I didn't have a family at the time, but I, get married, have kids, be with these kids and with my family a lot more than most people are. I want to watch them grow up every day, and I want to experience things in life. I don't want to always have to say, well, I can't do that this year, and I can't go to that wedding, I can't go to that funeral, I can't go to that friend's event, I can't do any of these things because I'm stuck because I got a job and I just have no freedom. Now, I understood that I also didn't want to just sit on some island and just do nothing all day and sip pina coladas. But if you want to do that, more power to you. I'm not judging you. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be active. I wanted to be productive in life. And I also wanted to give back. If my thought was, if I ever became successful, I want to be able to give back to those that are less fortunate. And so I had all of these reasons, and this is what it is. It's called your big why. What's your big why? Why do you have to make this successful? That is something I want you to think about. Now, you may get to the end and say, well, I don't have a big why. I don't really want to do this. And that's helpful to know, too. Because unless you've got a big why, it's really hard to overcome some of the inevitable challenges and confusion and frustrations that come with anything new. So you have to have a big why as to why you want to do this. And I want you to think through that. What would that mean to your life? What do you want your life to look like? And can real estate, really get you there? And is that where you want to be? Okay, so that's your homework for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed learning more about why be a real estate investor. And also you can reference this book that you've got a free copy of. Reference this book, and you can read that chapter on it as well. I go in a little bit more depth than all these little items right here. All right, see you on the next video.